series I thought of. In my last video I spoke that we'll be doing a longer RPG playthrough. Still working on what that's going to be. But this is episode 1 of something I'd like to call Mechadex. So what we're going to do is, this is Gundam Extreme versus a Maxi Boost on. And every episode we're going to take one of the pilots, we're going to go through their little profile, look at a couple of their machines, and kind of just talk about some Gundam stuff, some mecha stuff. You know, learn about these good ladies and gentlemen that make up the Gundam series. And see, ultimately, which pilots we think are really good, which pilots we think kind of suck, and maybe by the end of it all, we'll have determined who is the best in the Mechadex. Alright, well, where else to begin such a series than the original Gundam pilot, the place where it all began, Mr. Amuro Ray. Today we'll be looking at Amuro Ray and the Gundam. And maybe some of its other forces. For now, just Gundam. So, let's go through his profile here, first of all. He's voiced by Toru Furuya. A shy young man, he is the son of the engineer Tim Ray and an amateur tinkerer in his own right. His life took a turn in the One-Year War when Side 7 was attacked by Zeon, and he found himself in the Federation's prototype mobile suit, the Gundam. Amuro was never cut out for war, but the many new people he met and lost over the course of the conflict made him a soldier and a man. His contributions to the war were nothing short of supernatural, and he became well known as a new type. Some additional information for Amuro. The ace of the Federation and hero of the One-Year War. Amuro was originally an aspiring engineer and continued working on mobile suit maintenance even on the White Base. At Matilda Jean's behest, he helped plan and test Gundam-related projects. He became skilled at many things, beyond piloting and his new type powers. So, this is Amuro. Like I said, he is the original Gundam pilot. And if we look here, we can find a little information about the original Gundam series. So, this is the first Gundam TV series and starting point for the entire franchise. The original Mobile Suit Gundam revolutionized the robot anime genre by treating its machines as weapons of war, an immortal legend of Japanese anime whose legacy will be remembered for generations to come. The general story synopsis is it is the year UC, or Universal Century, 0079, and war rages between the Principality of Zeon and the Earth Federation. Amuro Ray, a resident of Side 7, finds himself piloting the Federation's new Gundam mobile suit after an attack by Zeon forces. As he endures battle after battle, Amuro's new type powers slowly begin to awaken. And here's a little movie, just kinda showing some of the Gundam stuff on. Alright. So we are going to take Amuro out for a spin. These videos aren't going to be very long, I don't think. I think what we're going to do is I'm trying to think now. Yeah, okay. What we'll do is we'll take each of our pilots through just the original branch battle as far as we can get. If we die, then we'll cut it off there. If we make it all the way to the end, then cool. And by the end, we will be able to see, well, who makes it where. Now, Amuro has a couple of mobile suits to his name. He has the Gundam, he has the Gundam G parts, and I think is that it? Oh, I guess. There it is. And the new Gundam. So, for this first part, well, let's start with the Gundam. This basic, original Gundam. So Amuro was a pretty mild-mannered pilot. He did not initially want to be involved in the fighting at all. That made him the recipient of the original Bright Slap. Bright Note being a pilot who, or a captain rather, who Amuro sees as a father figure. And he once had to slap some sense into our young pilot. And as Gundam is the original unit, we don't have a lot of super weaponry here. We have our gun. We've got a beam saber. And we've got a bazooka that we can launch out. So, I mean, I'm not exactly talking the most artillery. We'll see how well we can do. I'm excited to over time get more of these Mechadex videos out. I think it'll be a neat idea to kind of go through all the pilots and what there is to see. We also have this beam javelin. You can actually charge that up, and it will do more damage. Alright. So our first win for Mr. Ray. So the way Mechadex is going to work is we are going to try these routes until we win or lose. If we lose, then that will be it for the run. If we make it all the way to the end, cool. Some units will have an easier time than others, to be sure. And in terms of pilots, some only have the one unit, some have several. As for the feel of Gundam, just to play as, it's not bad. I mean, it's the original suit, so it's not flashy, it's not, you know, you see from some of the stuff we're fighting. Guns everywhere, lasers. It's a lot more focused. I think it's a good way to put it. But it's got good mobility. And as you can see, take a hit. Kill 9. We move on. Some of the pilots there'll be more to say about. Some of them it will just be reading the bio and then just kind of having the gameplay, seeing the suit in action. There's not really a lot to say about Amuro, without talking about another character, which we'll probably be doing a Mechadex sometime soon. And that is his rival, Char Admirable. I guess I'll go into it a little here. Char is a pilot on Zeon's side. Zeon is the Empire. Amuro fights for the Earth. And Zeon is for the space colonies. The way Gundam series work is a lot of the time, neither side is inherently evil or good. It's a war usually with just opposite sides. So Gundam story typically is not about good and evil. It's usually just a war between two conflicting ideals a lot of the time. The neat thing about Gundam series is that you don't typically get really silly, cartoonishly evil characters. Every so often one will show up. Aliel Sashes from Double O comes to mind. But for the most part, even the villains are reasonable. But so I just kind of focused in there, right? Unicorn is one of my favorite units, but it's a pain in the ass to fight sometimes. These matches can get pretty intense. So sometimes I might kind of zone in a bit, just because some of the fights can get pretty crazy. I guess if we had to describe Amuro ultimately in a word, I guess kind would be that he was always kind of the heart of the Earth forces, and although he did over time become quite the pilot, it was never something he really wanted to do. He did it to protect his friends and family, and because he felt what Zeon was doing was wrong. As I was speaking about Char Admirable, he is a Char. There are a lot of memes about it. He is a character, along with Amuro, whose influence is felt till really the rest of the series. So much so that Amuro Ray's voice actor voices one of the main villains in a much later series, Gundam 00, and pilots a unit that is generally designed to look like the original Gundam. Also, for those who are interested, I would think that Char and Amuro might have been one of anime's first yaoi couples, so not canon, of course, but there are a lot of fan interpretations on the relationship between them. A little bit homosexual. Remember, of course, that this was broadcasting in the 80s originally, so it's not really the most flattering depiction necessarily. But that's the thing. there's no confirmed statement on any of that, but fans have noticed that there's a lot there between the two of them. As far as gameplay goes, Gundam is holding up pretty good thus far. Yes, it is pretty limited. There's not a lot going on. There's some shirts. Pretty much almost any opponent we could fight would have more going for it in terms of variety. A few exceptions. The Epyon or something shows up. Well, I am of the opinion the Epyon is not very good. For one. There are some other units that I don't necessarily think are as good. We'll get there. I have a friend who is interested in getting this game, and if he does, we might be able to do some video together in the near future. That would help with me and someone to fight with me. The only complaint I have is that the AI is not great. Even if you're playing well. Which I'm not right now. But if you are playing well, the AI can still show you. Well, I'm in trouble here with Gundam Double X. But I was able to choose that out in the end. The beam javelin stuns your opponent for a period of time. It's a very handy tool to get a combo off, or even free him up for a hit. Alright, 3 to go. I wonder if we're gonna make it for the first episode of Mechadex. Will we make it all the way to the end?
Amuro,
so, the suit that's with us in this fight is actually, I believe, Char's. One of Char's. Oh, it's focused here. So that's kind of funny. Yeah, it is Char. The red suit you saw piling over there is called Zaku. And the trick was Char's, he was such a good pilot that he took what was a grunt suit, a useless suit, and made it really good. He became known as the Red Comet for being able to fight Gundam in what should have been a vastly inferior suit. Now, eventually he would get a unit known as the Suzabi, which we'll be seeing later. But moment. I've really only played mostly as Axilla and some parts of Candace, so this will be a learning experience for me. There's so many suits to talk with me. get them all, test them, and learn everything about them before making a video. So a lot of this is going to be my first impression as well. Now, when I get to certain suits, you might see I did play Gundam versions prequel to this. You may see when I get to certain suits, the gameplay is a lot smoother. That's just because I'm more familiar with them, of course. Alright. So we're facing up against... Sure, this looks like Axis. Alongside the original Gundam series, there's also a movie known as called Shura's Counterattack, which is kind of like an epilogue for Amuro story. In that, Amuro has to fight Shura again, and he is at this point trying to ram a giant asteroid known as Axis into the Earth, and I believe that's what we're fighting on here. As things turn out, Axis has to be defeated, or destroyed, and Shura defeated before things go bad. These people that show up here, Dozo and the Big Zam, and Makube, the smaller guy, they were not present for that event. They were already dead at this point. But I guess for game purposes, they just put him here. All that's left to do is beat Big Zam. The game calls Big Zam a boss, but I think with almost any unit, beating him's not that bad. Of course, I say that, I'm almost dead. But, I mean, for this help. Yeah, we made it. We got a bonus for killing him during his actually. And I've been playing a bit now, so I've got my intimacy with my navigators. Yeah, on that level. Which unlocks new costumes. That's neat. Alright, and look, we've made it to the end. With Amuro Ray's Gundam. 4-0 normal Gundam.
僕の意識は常に彼女の心と共にある。その高みへ
The boss will always be this fellow? Lady? Extreme. And the extreme Gundam. This fight... This fight can be a better than ours. I've fought this a few times already. It has some tricks up its sleeve. Ironically, if we were to do well enough, I do believe we get a stronger version of this true villain. But that's not going to happen with Gundam. As we go through the other units, quite possibly we'll see I guess the true final boss.
あの子ならすぐに倒せてしまいそうね。一人の力じゃ勝てませんでした。
We did it.
僕という希望が消えてしまえば、彼女は
So that's not bad for our first map.
素晴らしい記録です。私のお手柄もちょっとありますよね。
And then the credits roll. It's just an arcade mode, this is. But I feel it's a good way to give some focus to these, a fair amount of screen time for each. Alright, we're approaching half an hour almost.
あなたの好みにカスタマイズされたこの外見でお手伝いします。
I'm not sure I want to do another one right now with Amuro. Next time, I think we'll show off Amuro in the G parts. And after we've done that, we will be showing off the new Gundam, which will be the final Gundam Amuro ends up with. And as you can see from the cost for the unit, this is the strongest unit by far. Gundam and Gundam with the G parts are very similar. And some people I see, we got sure he's gonna have a couple of ways. Quite a few things for him. But we'll make our way through. So that was the beginning of Mechadex, episode 1. Next time, Gundam G parts. And look forward to seeing you next time, pilots. This has been Lucifer Monte. Stay safe.